The loud applause echoing through St. Gabriel Medical Center came to an abrupt stop. Doctors, nurses, and patients turned toward the main lobby as Chief Administrator Ethan Carter raised his voice. "I've had enough, Hannah. Hand over your ID badge. You're fired." The words hit like thunder. More than 100 employees stood frozen. Some lowered their heads. Others exchanged uncomfortable glances. No one dared speak. Standing before them was Hannah Carter, a quiet housekeeping supervisor, a devoted mother of an 8-year-old boy named Noah, and a woman everyone believed was just another employee. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She simply removed her badge, placed it in Ethan's hand, and whispered, "I hope one day you understand what you've done." The staff thought it was the end of a broken woman's career. None of them knew. The hospital wasn't Ethan's. It had never been. And the quiet mother he had just humiliated in front of everyone was the sole owner of the entire hospital network. 5 years earlier, when Hannah inherited Carter Healthcare from her late grandfather, every lawyer advised her to announce herself as the owner immediately. Instead, she made an unusual decision. "I don't want people treating me differently because of money," she told the board. "I want to know how patients and employees are truly treated." Only the board chairman, the chief legal officer, and her grandfather's attorney knew the truth. She spent years working in different departments: reception, laundry, patient transport, housekeeping. She wanted to understand every person's struggle. It was during those years she met Ethan. He was charming, ambitious, and incredibly kind. Or so she believed. They married 2 years later. Hannah never revealed her ownership because she wanted Ethan to love her, not her wealth. When he was promoted to chief administrator, she felt proud. "I knew you could do it," she said, hugging him. What she didn't know was that power had slowly changed him. After becoming administrator, Ethan became obsessed with reputation. VIP patients first. Don't waste expensive medicine. Housekeeping isn't allowed in executive hallways. His words grew colder every month. Hannah often questioned his decisions privately. Patients deserve compassion, not just policies. He dismissed her. "You clean floors. Don't tell me how to run a hospital." Those words hurt, not because she cleaned floors, but because he believed a person's job determined their worth. At home, things became worse. Their son Noah noticed first. "Dad doesn't smile anymore." Hannah always defended Ethan. "He's just under pressure." But pressure doesn't create cruelty, it reveals it. One rainy afternoon, an elderly woman arrived in the emergency department. She had no insurance. Her daughter begged through tears, "Please? My mother can't breathe." Ethan looked at the paperwork. "No financial guarantee. Transfer her." Hannah overheard everything. She quietly signed the treatment authorization herself. "Treat her immediately." The doctors obeyed. The woman survived. When Ethan discovered someone had overruled him, he exploded. "Who approved this?" "I did," Hannah answered calmly. "You had no authority." "I had enough." That single sentence sealed her fate. The next morning, Ethan planned to make an example of her. He gathered every department: doctors, nurses, residents, maintenance workers, patients waiting nearby. "This employee repeatedly violated hospital policy," Ethan announced. "Effective immediately. Hannah Carter is terminated." The silence was unbearable. Hannah accepted her dismissal without resistance. She simply picked up her small bag. Before leaving, she looked around the lobby. Many employees had tears in their eyes. Several patients quietly clapped for her. Not because she was losing. Because they knew she had always been the kindest person in the building. As Hannah reached the front doors, 3 black luxury vehicles stopped outside. The hospital board stepped out. Behind them walked attorney Margaret Collins carrying several sealed folders. Everyone looked confused. The chairman spoke firmly. "Mrs. Hannah Carter, before you leave we require your signature." Ethan frowned. "What is this?" Margaret smiled politely. "The annual owner's authorization documents." Ethan laughed. "Owner? She's a housekeeping supervisor." No one else laughed. The chairman slowly turned toward Ethan. "You've been managing this hospital for 3 years. Less. And somehow never learned who actually owns it." His smile disappeared. "What?" The attorney opened the first folder. "Following the passing of Mr. William Carter, 100% ownership of Carter Healthcare transferred to his granddaughter." She paused. "Mrs. Hannah Carter." The lobby fell completely silent. A nurse dropped her clipboard. One doctor whispered, "No, impossible." Ethan stared at his wife. "You all own this hospital." Hannah nodded softly. "I always did." His face turned white. "Why didn't you tell me?" Because I wanted a husband. She swallowed hard. Not someone who respected a bank account. Tears filled Ethan's eyes. No, Hannah replied gently. I've spent years explaining your behavior to our son. You can explain yours to him. You, the chairman, addressed the staff. Mrs. Carter has personally funded over 4,000 free surgeries. Gasps spread across the room. She established scholarships for nurses. More whispers. She paid emergency medical bills for employees without revealing her identity. Several nurses began crying. Everything kind that had happened inside the hospital had come from Hannah. The board then presented a report. Employee complaints against Ethan, patient discrimination, financial manipulation, abuse of authority, witness statements, video evidence. Every page revealed the leader he had become. The chairman looked directly at Ethan. Your employment is terminated immediately. Security stepped forward. For the first time, Ethan understood how public humiliation felt. 2 weeks later, the hospital changed. Waiting rooms became warmer. Staff received better benefits. Patients without insurance were no longer turned away. Every department focused on dignity before profit. Employees no longer feared walking through the halls. They smiled again. Pew at home, Noah asked his mother a question. Mom, are you really the boss? Hannah smiled. No. I'm just someone responsible for taking care of people. Noah hugged her tightly. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Those words meant more than every building she owned. 2 months later, Ethan requested one final meeting. He looked older, quieter. I lost everything. Hannah looked into his eyes. No. You lost it the day you forgot how to treat people. He lowered his head. I'm sorry. I know. But forgiveness doesn't always rebuild what pride destroys. She stood to leave, then paused. I truly hope you become the man our son once admired. It wasn't revenge, it was grace. A year later, Carter Healthcare was recognized as the country's most compassionate hospital network. Not because it had the newest technology, not because it earned the most money, but because every employee remembered one lesson from the quiet mother who once cleaned the floors. Never measure a person's value by their position. Because the kindest person in the room may be the one who owns the whole building.